Homelander, an unstoppable force to many in the boys' universe, a hero to many, a psychopath to few, or maybe a lost soul. That's what we aim to find out. In this video, I'll ask the question of whether Homelander is at fault or not. Hi, my name's M, and welcome to my channel. The origins of Homelander. Despite Homelander being a replication of Superman and his legacy, you would be surprised to find out how different their origins are. But in the difference of their origins lies the reason of why he might not be at fault. The Homelander's origins can be defined by one word: experimentation. Homelander was born in a laboratory by scientists who wanted to make the perfect superhuman, and they succeeded. With the semen of the strongest hero at the time and the unfortunate female volunteer, America's greatest hero was born.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings with a single bound, this amazing stranger from the planet Krypton.
His name, Homelander, and he's not a bird or a plane, he's a murderer and a psychopath. Homelander's life after birth was one of segregation, loneliness, neglect, and suffering. Homelander was left in a room similar to a furnace where he was left to burn in an inferno just to test his heat resistance, all while he watches a man throw hoops with a paper ball. The Homelander, real name John Gilman, was subjected to a lot. He wasn't just left alone in a room of white walls. No, he was tested on, dissected on where he could be, facing mental and physical trauma, all for the sake of America. The world of the boys. The world of the boys in simple is nearly the exact same as ours. Influential figures showing a facade of who they really are on the internet. Horrible lifestyle choices from those figures. Devious acts go unrecognized when figures have money and influence. And propaganda being at an all-time high. Nothing's really new. But this same world shapes its people and their views. And when you are born into the world and raised with its ways, you view it as a norm. As anyone would, could you blame Justin Bieber for acting like a celebrity if he was surrounded by them for almost his entire life, or Usher, who had similar upbringings? Influence shapes the world and its mindsets of the masses, and when you are born into the top, you have no choice but to act a certain way. For Homelander, this was needing to act like a narcissist and a psychopath, because when you can do anything in the world, why not act like the absolute worst person you can? For fun. Similar to how rich celebrities, politicians, and the elite are some of the worst people you can find, with some exceptions, the world of the boys is similar to the outcomes, just with superpowers and superhuman people. Homelander's father. Sometimes you don't need a captain, but a soldier. The soldier. Boy. Real name Benjamin was once the single strongest hero and the single strongest man in the world, the strongest soup in history, and the man who took a nut into a cup. That same semen would be used to make John Gilman, making Soldier Boy the biological father of Homelander, and this knowledge would be pivotal to Homelander. It was amazing to him. It made his world bloom. I mean, who wouldn't be excited to find out that your father is the strongest hero in the world? But when Soldier Boy was confronted with this fact, even being shown his grandson right in front of him, he said, "No!" And he rejected both his son and grandson. This would hurt Homelander because Soldier Boy decided to have no lineage than have one of John Gilman. The Seven. They say you are the people you are closest to, and Homelander is no exception. Imagine if Homelander was in a team like the Justice League. I present you a scenario. They don't know anything about his past or action before he joins them. How long do you think it will take a person to realize the severity of their actions when they are surrounded by people who are doing the opposite? If this was the scenario that Homelander would have been given, he might have been the next Superman. Now, let's look by who he's really surrounded by.
We're going to inform you that I've located the mayor's Gulf Stream. Could be wrathful gods. Show me a little wrath.
Yeah, it's not that hard to see why he's the person who he is. Now, I'm not saying that the Seven is at fault for all the bad that Homelander has done, but they are part of the problem. If they had acted a little bit differently, maybe Homelander would have too. Homelander's actions. Homelander's actions can surprisingly be defined by one word: diabolical. To list a few: murder, manslaughter, rape, arson, property damage, and, low-key, child abuse. This is the biggest factor to our question of whether he is at fault. If you purely looked at his actions, he would be 100% beyond fault and more. I mean, he has so many sins, he better hope he's immortal. He needs thousands of years of redemption arcs to even come close to breaking even. And I mean, there's not much to say. I mean, we already know that he's a bad person, so let's just skip to the obvious part. So, is Homelander at fault? After looking at everything, the answer is pretty clear. He's dead guilty. However, all the things that we have went through shows us that his story is not so clear and simple. Homelander was raised wrong, not by parents but by a scientist. What surrounded him was also wrong. His allies, his environment, and his home, even his victims, barely had any innocence. His story shows us that he wasn't born to do bad. It's of nurture and not nature. If he had been treated right, I believe he would have been alright. Such as everybody needs love, Homelander did too. And that's my final truth. Homelander is at fault. However, so are the people that raised him, surrounded him, and treated him badly.
But this time the subject was not driven by anger, but by something else altogether. I told Dr. Vogelbaum that the subject was obviously suffering from isolation-induced depression, but he didn't respond. He just told me to find another tutor.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.